They don't remember what you said in that conversation. They remember how you made them feel. Feeling heard is rare. Feeling like someone truly wants to understand you not just wait for their turn to perform, that's even rarer. So when they walk away, they're not thinking, wow, that person was so interesting. They're thinking, wow, I felt interesting talking to them. And that feeling is what makes them want to talk to you again. Epictetus taught his students, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. He understood something deeply important. Listening isn't passive. It's active. It's where real connection happens. You're not there to be impressive. You're there to be interested. And genuine, unhurried interest in what someone else is saying is magnetic in a world where everyone is performing. Watch what changes when you do this. Conversations go deeper, faster. People open up to you in ways they don't with others. You become the person they seek out when they want to talk about something real. Not because you gave brilliant advice, not because you told fascinating stories, but because you made them feel heard. That's the power in those 4 words. Not in saying them, but in meaning them. Now, let's move to the second phrase. This one makes people uncomfortable. They avoid it because they think it makes them look weak. It does the opposite. Phrase number 2. I don't know. 3 words most people are terrified to say. Someone asks your opinion on something you're not familiar with. Instantly, your instinct kicks in. You try to fake it. You manufacture an answer that sounds intelligent. You deflect with something vague, something safe, something that could mean anything. You dance around the truth that you have no idea what you're talking about, because admitting ignorance feels like admitting weakness, like you're less than, like you should know this, and not knowing must mean something is wrong with you. But watch what actually happens. When someone fakes knowledge, you're in a conversation. They're asked about something they don't understand. Instead of saying so, they invent an opinion. And you can feel it immediately. The answer has a hollow quality. The words sound right, but they mean nothing. They're performing confidence they don't have. And now a quiet question forms in your mind. If they're willing to fake certainty about this, what else are they faking? Can you trust anything they say with conviction? Fake knowledge doesn't make them look smart. It makes them look insecure, like they need you to believe they know everything. Now watch someone who's actually confident. Same question, they pause. Then they say, I don't know. That's it. No long explanation for why they don't know. No apology for their ignorance. No attempt to redirect to something they do know. Just 3 words, delivered calmly. Like it's not a crisis to admit there's something they're not an expert in. And that calm honesty, that's strength. Once you see the power of calmly saying, I don't know, something subtle begins to shift. You trust that person more. Because if they're honest about what they don't know, chances are they're honest about what they do know. Their certainty, when they have it, suddenly carries weight. It means something. They're not performing confidence. They're simply being straight with you. This is exactly what Socrates meant when he said, I know that I know nothing. It wasn't false humility. It wasn't self-deprecation. It was the recognition that wisdom begins the moment you admit the limits of your knowledge. Insecure people feel the need to appear knowledgeable about everything. Confident people don't. They're comfortable saying, I don't know, because their value isn't tied to having every answer. They're secure enough to admit when they don't. And here's what changes when you start using those 3 words. Honestly, people relax around you. They're no longer competing with your ego. They're not bracing themselves for you to one-up them with superior knowledge. There's no performance to keep up with. And when you do speak with certainty, when you actually know what you're talking about, they listen. Because you've already shown that you don't speak just to sound smart. You speak because something is true. Your words carry weight precisely because you've proven you're willing to admit when they don't. But there's a trap here, using I don't know as false humility. I don't know anything about that, followed by a long paragraph proving you actually know quite a lot. That's not honesty. That's just another performance. When you don't know, say it. Then either stay quiet or, if you're genuinely curious, say, I don't know. Want to figure it out together. They don't remember what you said in that conversation. They remember how you made them feel. Feeling heard is rare. Feeling like someone truly wants to understand you not. Just wait for their turn to perform, that's even rarer. So when they walk away, they're not thinking, wow, that person was so interesting. They're thinking, wow, I felt interesting talking to them. And that feeling is what makes them want to talk to you again. Epictetus taught his students, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. He understood something deeply important. Listening isn't passive. It's active. It's where real connection happens. You're not there to be impressive. You're there to be interested. And genuine, unhurried interest in what someone else is saying is magnetic in a world where everyone is performing. Watch what changes when you do this. Conversations go deeper, faster. People open up to you in ways they don't with others. You become the person they seek out when they want to talk about something real. Not because you gave brilliant advice. Not because you told fascinating stories. But because you made them feel heard. That's the power in those 4 words. Not in saying them, but in meaning them. Now, let's move to the second phrase. This one makes people uncomfortable. They avoid it because they think it makes them look weak. It does the opposite. Phrase number 2. I don't know. 3 words most people are terrified to say. Someone asks your opinion on something you're not familiar with. Instantly, your instinct kicks in. You try to fake it. You manufacture an answer that sounds intelligent. You deflect with something vague, something safe, something that could mean anything. You dance around the truth that you have no idea what you're talking about, because admitting ignorance feels like admitting weakness. Like you're less than, like you should know this. And not knowing must mean something is wrong with you. But watch what actually happens. When someone fakes knowledge, you're in a conversation. They're asked about something they don't understand. Instead of saying so, they invent an opinion. And you can feel it immediately. The answer has a hollow quality. The words sound right, but they mean nothing. They're performing confidence they don't have. And now a quiet question forms in your mind. If they're willing to fake certainty about this, what else are they faking? Can you trust anything they say with conviction? Fake knowledge doesn't make them look smart. It makes them look insecure, like they need you to believe they know everything. Now watch someone who's actually confident. Same question, they pause. Then they say, I don't know. That's it. No long explanation for why they don't know. No apology for their ignorance. No attempt to redirect to something they do know. Just 3 words, delivered calmly. Like it's not a crisis to admit there's something they're not an expert in. And that calm honesty, that's strength. Once you see the power of calmly saying, I don't know, something subtle begins to shift. You trust that person more. Because if they're honest about what they don't know, chances are they're honest about what they do know. Their certainty, when they have it, suddenly carries weight. It means something. They're not performing confidence. They're simply being straight with you. This is exactly what Socrates meant when he said, "I know that I know nothing." It wasn't false humility. It wasn't self-deprecation. It was the recognition that wisdom begins the moment you admit the limits of your knowledge. Insecure people feel the need to appear knowledgeable about everything. Confident people don't. They're comfortable saying, "I don't know," because their value isn't tied to having every answer. They're secure enough to admit when they don't. And here's what changes when you start using those three words. Honestly, people relax around you. They're no longer competing with your ego. They're not bracing themselves for you to one-up them with superior knowledge. There's no performance to keep up with. And when you do speak with certainty, when you actually know what you're talking about, they listen. Because you've already shown that you don't speak just to sound smart. You speak because something is true. Your words carry weight precisely because you've proven you're willing to admit when they don't. But there's a trap here, using "I don't know" as false humility. "I don't know anything about that," followed by a long paragraph proving you actually know quite a lot. That's not honesty. That's just another performance. When you don't know, say it. Then either stay quiet or, if you're genuinely curious, say, "I don't know." Want to figure it out together. But don't fake ignorance. And don't fake knowledge. Both are performances. Just be honest about what you know and what you don't. That honesty is more attractive than any amount of manufactured expertise. If this week you said, "I don't know when," you could have faked it if you chose. Honesty over performing. I chose truth below. Not to announce what you admitted you didn't know, but to mark the moment you valued being real over being impressive. That quiet choice, repeated over time, is what builds real trust instead of fake authority. Now, let's move to the third phrase. This one saves you from a trap almost everyone falls into. When someone shares a problem. Phrase number 3. That sounds difficult. Someone opens up to you. Work has been overwhelming. Their relationship is struggling. They're exhausted, trying to hold everything together. And your first instinct, the thing almost everyone does, is to jump straight into solutions. Have you tried this? What if you just did that? When I went through something similar, You think you're being helpful. You're not. What they hear isn't, "Here's a solution." What they hear is, "This is simple. Why haven't you figured it out yet?" Most people don't share problems because they want you to fix them. They share because they need to be heard. Because they've been carrying something heavy. And saying it out loud to someone who actually listens makes it feel lighter. But when you rush to solutions, you unintentionally dismiss their experience. You imply that the struggle they've been living with for weeks or months could be solved by the idea you came up with in 5 seconds, and now they feel worse. Not only do they still have the problem, but they also feel foolish for not solving it with your simple solution. And that's the moment connection quietly breaks. When you stop trying to fix people, something surprising begins to happen. Watch what changes when you simply say, "That sounds difficult." Just 3 words. You're not fixing. You're not minimizing. You're not comparing their pain to your own story. You're doing something far more powerful. You're acknowledging that what they're going through is hard, And that acknowledgement, simple, quiet, and sincere, gives them something they're rarely given anywhere else. Permission to feel exactly how they feel without having to justify it, explain it away, or solve it immediately. They keep talking because you didn't shut them down with advice. You created space for them to process out loud. And here's what most people don't realize. Processing out loud with someone who isn't trying to fix you is how people actually figure out what they need to do. Not from your solution, not from your clever insight, but from hearing themselves think while you listen without judgment. That's the real gift, not your wisdom, your patience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Most people do the opposite. They're strict with others. Just do this. It's not that hard. You're overthinking it. And they're tolerant with themselves when they struggle. But real strength looks different. Real strength is being patient with other people's difficulties while holding yourself to high standards. When someone shares a problem, they're not asking you to be strict with them. They need tolerance, an understanding that what feels hard for them is hard even if it wouldn't be hard for you. And when you respond that way, here's what changes. People stop bringing you surface complaints. They start bringing you real problems. The deep stuff, because you've proven you won't immediately fix them or minimize what they're feeling. You'll just listen. Validation creates space. And that space, the rare space where someone can struggle without being judged or corrected, is where real connection lives. You become someone safe, someone trusted, not because you have all the answers, but because you don't pretend to. If they want advice, they'll ask, "What would you do?" And when they do, you offer it carefully, not as the solution, but as your experience. When I went through something similar, this helped me. It might not work for you, but it's there if you want it. You're not the expert on their life. You're a witness to their struggle. And sometimes, being witnessed is all someone needs. Now we move to number 4. This is the hardest discipline of all. Most people never master it. And yet, it's the one that makes everything you say actually matter. Phrase number 4, silence. Most people are terrified of it. A pause appears in the conversation, and panic sets in. Fill it with words. Any words. Observations about nothing. Stories no one asked for. Commentary that adds no value, because silence feels like failure. Like the conversation is dying, and it's your responsibility to save it with more talking. So you talk, and the more you talk, the less anyone listens. Words without weight become noise, constant, low level, easy to ignore. Over time, you train everyone around you to treat your words the same way. Now watch someone who's comfortable with silence. They're in a group. Everyone's talking. They're quiet. Not because they have nothing to say, because nothing worth saying has appeared yet. Someone asks them a question. They don't answer immediately. They pause. 2, 3 seconds. They actually think. Then they speak. One clear point. And they stop. And suddenly, everyone is listening. Because the silence before they spoke made the room lean in. Once you understand the power of silence, you begin to notice something else. The pause itself becomes a signal. It tells everyone in the room that what's coming next matters. And when you finish speaking, you don't rush to fill the space after. You let the statement land. You let others respond, or you let the silence sit there. If that's what the moment needs, and here's what that silence does. It creates weight. When you speak rarely, your words carry force. When you're comfortable with quiet, people around you become uncomfortable with it. And in that discomfort, they start filling the space. They talk. And when they talk to fill silence, they reveal themselves. You can learn more about someone in the few seconds they spend trying to escape an awkward pause than in an hour of normal conversation. You see who they are when they're uncomfortable, their patterns, their insecurities, what they're really thinking versus what they perform when everything feels safe. But this only works if your silence is genuinely comfortable. If you're sitting there, anxious, desperate for someone to say something so the awkwardness ends, people feel it. Your discomfort makes them uncomfortable. The silence becomes tense. Not powerful, but if you're truly at peace with quietive, you don't need constant verbal stimulation to feel okay. That calm spreads. It's contagious. They relax. And relaxed people are honest. Performed people are careful. You want honest, Seneca wrote. Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. He understood that people who talk constantly are often running from something. Their own thoughts, the weight of what they've lived through, the discomfort of simply being with themselves. But people who've faced real suffering learn something different. Silence isn't empty. It's full of presence, full of attention, full of the ability to exist without needing to prove you're interesting every 30 seconds. When you master this, when you're genuinely comfortable not speaking unless you have something worth saying, watch what changes in groups. People start looking to you when they want a real opinion, because you don't waste words on safe takes or obvious observations. When you speak, it's because you actually have something to contribute. One-on-one conversations go deeper, faster, because you're not filling every pause with surface-level talk. You're letting the silence do the work, and silence is where people go deep. They say things in the quiet they would never say in constant chatter. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's not about withholding. It's about being present enough that you don't need words to fill space. Your presence is enough, and that presence, that rare comfort with simply being, magnetic if you just realized you've been filling silence because you're uncomfortable with it. If number 4 hit differently, subscribe so you remember this the next time you're about to talk, just to fill space. Because saying less is often what makes your words matter more. Now, let's move to the 5th phrase. This one recognizes something people are desperate for, but rarely receive. Phrase number 5. I appreciate you, not thank you. Not thanks for your help. Not I appreciate what you did. Those are transactional. They acknowledge actions, services rendered, tasks completed. Someone helped you move, you say thanks. Someone covered your shift, say you appreciate it. That's about the action. But I appreciate you does something completely different. Those 3 words acknowledge the person, not what they did, but who they are. Watch the difference. Your friend shows up when things are hard, again, like they always do. You could say, thanks for being there. That's fine, polite, correct, but it's still about the action, being there. And that's where most people stop. When you move beyond polite thanks, something deeper becomes possible now. Say it clearly. I appreciate you. You're not thanking them for showing up this time. You're recognizing that they are the kind of person who always shows up. That's not an action. That's character. And you're telling them that you see it. You see them, not just what they do for you, Who they are when nobody's asking anything from them. Who they are when no one is watching. And people are desperate for this kind of recognition because the world treats them like functions. At work, they're what they produce. At home, they're what they provide. Everywhere they go, they're measured by output, by usefulness, by results. And somewhere deep inside, they're starving for someone to look past the doing and recognize the being, to say, I see who you are, not just what you've done. And who you are matters to me. That's why this phrase carries so much weight, but only if you use it correctly. This isn't something you scatter everywhere. I appreciate you for passing the salt. No, that drains it of meaning. It turns something powerful into noise. You reserve it for real moments. When someone shows consistency, when you notice their character, not just a single action. Your colleague stays late to help you meet a deadline. Don't just say, thanks for staying. That acknowledges the late night. Instead, say, I appreciate you. You always show up when it counts. Now you're not praising the effort. You're recognizing the pattern, the reliability, the person. Marcus Aurelius began each day thinking about the people around him, not what they did for him, but who they were. He wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He understood something most people forget, recognizing someone's existence, their character, their value as a human being beyond their utility is rare, and rare things are valuable. When you become the person who sees people not just their actions, you become rare too, and people are drawn to what's rare. Here's what changes when you start saying this, and truly meaning it. People become loyal, not because you're useful to them, but because you make them feel seen. In a world that reduces people to what they produce or provide, you're the one who sees them as complete, humans, flawed, consistent, worthy of recognition simply for who they are. That's magnetic, not in a manipulative way. In a human way, we all want to be seen. Most of us never are. And when someone finally does see us, not what we do, but who we are, we don't forget them. Use this phrase sparingly. Mean it completely, and watch what happens when people realize you're not just thanking them for their labor. You're recognizing their character. That recognition creates bonds that transactions never will. Now, we arrive at the final phrase. This is the one most people are terrible at. And without it, nothing else you say truly matters, because your words won't be respected. Phrase number 6. No, one word. The hardest one to say. Someone asks for your time, your energy, your presence at something you don't want to attend, and your instinct kicks in. You say yes, or maybe, or you invent an excuse that sounds reasonable enough. They can't argue with it, because no feels harsh. It feels like rejection, like you're being difficult, uncooperative, not a team player. So you say yes to things you don't want to do, with people you don't want to see. At times that don't work for you, and every time you say yes when you mean no, you teach people something dangerous. You teach them your time has no value, that you're available to everyone, for everything, that your boundaries don't exist. Watch what happens to people who can't say no. They're exhausted, resentful, overcommitted to things they don't care about while having no energy left for what actually matters. Their calendar is full, and their life feels empty, and over time, their life feels empty. Not because they lack opportunities, but because they gave all their time to other people's priorities and kept none for their own. Every free hour, every ounce of energy, quietly handed away. And here's the hard truth: most people don't want to face. People don't respect you more for being endlessly available. They respect you less because someone who says yes to everything is sending a clear signal. Their own time isn't valuable enough to protect. And if you don't value it, why would anyone else? Now, watch someone who can say no. Someone asks them to do something. They pause. Not dramatically, just long enough to actually consider whether they want to do it. Whether it fits their life, their energy, their priorities. If it doesn't, they say it plainly. No, I can't. That's it. No long apology. No invented excuse about being busy. No, maybe next time, which only leaves the door open for pressure later. Just no. Simple, clear, final. The person asking might be surprised. They might even feel annoyed for a moment. But underneath that reaction, something else happens. They respect it, because this person just demonstrated something rare. They know what their time is worth and they protect it. Your yes only matters when your no is real. If you say yes to everything, your yes means nothing. It's not a choice. It's just your default setting. But when people know you're capable of saying no when they've seen you set boundaries before, your yes becomes valuable. When you show up, they know it's because you chose to be there, not because you were too weak to refuse. Epictetus taught, first learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. Most people say yes without ever considering what it actually means. It means your time, your energy, your presence. All finite resources. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. You just didn't say that no out loud. You said it silently to yourself, to your goals, to the things you claim are priorities but never seem to have time for. Because you're too busy saying yes to everyone else. Here's what changes when you start saying no honestly. People stop assuming you're always available. They become more thoughtful about what they ask from you. And when you do say yes, they value it because they know it's a real choice, not a weak surrender. You reclaim your time, your energy, your ability to focus on what actually matters, instead of being scattered across 100 obligations you never wanted. You begin to live with intention. Say no without apology, without excuses, without softening it with false maybes. Your time is yours. Protect it, and watch how much more people value your presence once they realize it isn't guaranteed to everyone. For everything, boundaries don't push people away. They attract the ones worth keeping, and filter out the ones who only wanted you because you couldn't refuse them. These 6 principles: honesty, validation, silence, recognition, and boundaries. They're not tricks. They're character made visible through how you communicate. And character, that's what actually attracts people. Not your words, but who you are when you speak them. Notice something important. None of these require performing. They require presence. Being interested enough to listen. Secure enough to admit ignorance. Patient enough to validate without fixing. Comfortable enough with silence that you don't fill it with noise. Attentive enough to see people beyond their utility. Strong enough to protect your time. The Stoics understood this deeply. Attraction isn't about addition. It's about subtraction. Stop trying to be impressive. Stop filling every silence. Stop saying yes when you mean no. The moment you stop performing is the moment people start paying attention. not to what you say, but to who you are when you say it. If this changed how you communicate, subscribe. Share it with someone who talks more than they listen. The most attractive thing you can do. Stop trying to be attractive. Just be present. Everything else follows.